As you guys know, LEGO just dropped this year's May 4th Star Wars wave, and with that being said, it means we're officially at the halfway point in terms of LEGO Star Wars sets that are going to release this year. So I thought now is no better time than to stop and look at what we've gotten so far and pick what I think are the top 10 LEGO Star Wars sets that have released so far in 2024. Now for your information, the placement of these sets is going to be strictly based off of the ratings out of 10 that I gave them in all of my reviews. So if you haven't watched them already, make sure you go ahead and do so. I've reviewed every set that's released this year besides the 4+ set from January and the Brickheads and Polybags. Anyways, hopping right into it with some honorable mentions. The first honorable mention I have, or I guess the 12th spot, is probably a no-brainer to everyone, and that's 75380 Mos Espa Pod Race Diorama. This set has 718 pieces and a retail price of $80 US. Now on paper, its price per piece actually is pretty decent for 2024. However, the build itself does not feel like it's worth $80 whatsoever. It's very small, and in my review I said the ideal price for this set should have been $60. They maybe would have been able to get away with $70, but $80 is just pushing it way too far. This set is not worth $80 at all, and I would absolutely not recommend this to anyone for that price point. And it's also just really a shame that this set is so overpriced, because I genuinely really like the build in this set. The rock work in the arch is done very nicely. It's borderline on the same detail that a MOC would be on, and on top of that, the pod racers are very detailed and complex builds despite their size. Although if you watch my review, you know the only problem with the build itself is that Sebulba's pod racer actually can't fit through the arch, which kind of makes it feel a little bit weird. But other than that, I really like this build. It's just a shame that it's so overpriced, which inevitably puts it at the bottom of the list. Anyways though, the next honorable mention I have, or I guess the 11th spot, is 75383 Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator. This set has 640 pieces and a retail price of $70, which is also pretty overpriced. That's why it's in the honorable mentions. It's not near as overpriced as the Pod Race Diorama, but 70 is still pushing it a little bit for this set. This set does have some pretty good highlights and some pretty bad lowlights. I'd say some highlights are the minifigures like Saw Gerrera and Darth Maul. Yes, Darth Maul does not have pupils on his eyes, but that doesn't bother me. I still think it looks pretty good. And Saw Gerrera, while not being completely accurate because he's green, and yes, I know he's got a green tone in all of the source material, where he's very clearly more gray than he is green, and for some reason LEGO made him more green than he is gray, which I don't agree with because I'm a sucker for accuracy, but that aside, the figure itself does look really good. And then you have Qui-Gon and Anakin, which are both solid figures but nothing groundbreaking, although I really wish this would have included a 5th minifigure, maybe even a 6th, because you're paying $70 for it. Captain and Panaka and Padme are honestly really missing, which I don't appreciate, but for the most part, the ones that we did get are solid, and the ship is solid too. The back area around the cockpit is absolutely incredible. I think they did a great job, although I do have to say I don't really like how thick the front portion is. It's not really as sleek as a Sith Infiltrator should look, but for the most part the build is overall pretty solid. It's just unfortunately stuck in the honorable mentions because for $70 we're kind of lacking some minifigures, and again, I just don't like how the front portion is just a bit lumpy and too thick. Now finally making our way into the official top 10, at the number 10 spot I have 75376 Tantive 4. This set has 654 pieces and a retail price of $80, and like the other two, yes, $80 is pushing it for this set. That's why it's at the 10th spot. It's like LEGO always just wants to make them $10 more than they should be. I think $70 would have been a great price for this set, but $80 again is just too much. And also the build itself was a bit underwhelming for me, at least, because I was really looking forward to this set when I heard the rumors, and when I actually got the set in hand, it just didn't quite live up to my expectations. But I really think that's just on my part. Objectively, there's not much wrong with this build. I think the very front section with the 2 cylinder pieces is a bit too small compared to the backside, especially the engines, and also I think the middle area right in front of the radar dish is a bit too flat. There should be more shaping there, but overall, besides those two things, there's not much wrong with the build itself. It's pretty solid. It just sadly didn't live up to my expectations, and it's definitely not worth $80, so that's why it's at the 10th spot. But overall, this is a pretty decent set. I wouldn't recommend it to you unless you can find it for on sale below $80. Then next up at the number 9 spot, I have the UCS set that just dropped, being 75382 TIE Interceptor. This set has 1,931 pieces and a retail price of $230. Now, unlike the past 3 sets I've talked about, I think this set is fairly priced. $230 definitely feels worth it for how big this set is and just how fun it is to build. Although the reason it's at the number 9 spot is because I have some problems with the cockpit. If you watched my review, you would know. And no, it's not the gaps like everyone has been talking about. I mean, the gaps are there, they're an issue, but they don't bother me as much as the wing pylons do. Again, if you watch my review, I went into depth about this, I think the wing pylons are too tall and they come up to the very top of the cockpit when they're not supposed to go all the way to the top, and it kind of just makes the whole middle section look like one big lump, when in reality, if you look at source material, you can easily tell that the cockpit is almost a complete sphere, and then the wing pylons are like two separate pieces. But in this set, the wing pylons go to the top, and it just kind of makes it all blend together and look like one lump, therefore making the shaping of the cockpit just not look very accurate. But on the bright side though, the actual detailing on this middle area where the wing pylons and cockpit are is very nice. It's just they got the shaping wrong. And then of course the wings look incredible. LEGO did an amazing job on them. We all love TIE Interceptors for their wing shape and wing formation, and LEGO just blew it out of the water. It looks really good, especially on display. My only problem is just that the wing pylons and the cockpit just doesn't have great shaping and is not as good as it could have been. Up next at the number 8 spot, I have 75378 BARC Speeder Escape. This set has 221 pieces and retails for $30. And for what this set is, it's pretty solid. I think the BARC Speeder is a bit too oversized, and also I feel like $30 is sort of pushing it. 25 would have worked a lot better. But overall, again, for what the set is, it's pretty good. It's a really great play set. You can recreate the scene from The Mandalorian pretty much perfectly, and on top of that, it's always nice to get 2 501st Troopers, and a plus side is you can actually fit them on the speeder instead of Grogu and Keller and Beck, and in my opinion, I think they fit it a lot better. Continuing on to the number 7 spot, I have 75381 Droideka. This set has 583 pieces and a retail price of $65, and man, this set is such an incredible display piece, and it's actually fairly priced at $65 too. The buildable Droideka itself in its upright position is pretty much perfect. They did an incredible job all over with it. The amount of detail is amazing, and there's a lot of really cool techniques in there, like lipstick pieces being used for its eyes, although I do have one problem with it, and that's why it's at the number 7 spot, and this might just be a nitpick on my end, but it's how I actually feel about the set. As we all know, the set can roll up into a ball, but in order to do that, you actually have to take the legs off and then flip them upside down and put them back on, and I don't like that. I think it would have been way cooler if the Droideka could naturally roll up into a ball by itself without you having to take off pieces and put them back on. In my eyes, that's really the only thing holding it back. Like I said, everything else is pretty much perfect. I just don't really like how it can't naturally roll up into a ball. Next up at the number 6 spot, I have what is one of the most talked about sets so far throughout this year, and that is 75387 Boarding the Tantive 4. This set has 502 pieces and a retail price of $55. And I mean, as you guys all know, this is one of the most hyped up and talked about sets that has been released so far in 2024, and it's mainly because of that Fives minifigure, which unfortunately LEGO did not do the best job on. The biggest problem for me at least is his shoulder pauldron. I hate how it's shaped and it just sticks straight out on either side. It doesn't look good. There's also some other problems like a printed waist cape, of course, and then his helmet print not being accurate. Although despite those being inaccuracies, I don't think they look bad. The only thing that really looks bad to me is his pauldron. But enough about Fives. The actual rest of the set is really good, and that's why it's at the number 6 spot. I mean, you're getting 7 minifigures as well as a really fun build with lots of detail and lots of fun play features for only $55. If anything, really the only other problem with this set besides Fives is just those annoying Stormtrooper helmets, but other than those few things, this set is really good. It's a great display piece, great play set, and just an all-around great value for only $55. Now making our way into the top 5, at the number 5 spot, I have the best and worst LEGO Star Wars GWP of all time, and that is 40686 Trade Federation Troop Carrier. This set has 262 pieces, and as you guys know, this was the May 4th GWP, so basically if you spent $160 in between May 1st and May 4th on Star Wars sets, you would get this set for free as a gift with purchase, and that's why I say it's the best and the worst GWP of all time, because on one hand, it's a really good build with a good number of battle droids, making for a pretty good army builder, but on the other hand, it's well a GWP. It's locked behind a price wall, and I said this in my review, I just don't agree that a set with a demand like this should be locked behind a $160 price wall. I think it should have been something more niche, like maybe the Duel of Fates or the Pod Race diorama would have worked a lot better, but instead, after us wanting a new Trade Federation set for so long, they finally give it to us. It's just a GWP, which is unfortunate in my opinion, but that aside, yes, the set is really good. There's like one small problem I had with like a gap between the actual rack and the front cockpit area, but the rest is great. I think it's an amazing build, and I really wish this was released as a normal set, because I think it would have gone for around $30 and would have been really good at that price point. But instead, sadly, it's a GWP that's not even available from LEGO anymore, and on the third-party market, the price is just gonna keep going up. Anyways, moving on to the number 4 spot, I have this set that started off the year with an absolute bang, and that is 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. This set has 215 pieces and retails for $30, $30. And as you guys know, this is such an incredible battle pack. For $30, it's such a great value. You're getting 4 clone troopers and 5 battle droids, 3 of them being super battle droids, which we hadn't seen before since 2015. And on top of the minifigures, you're actually getting some pretty cool builds. The clone speeder is questionable, it doesn't look the greatest, but the main highlight is the tri-droid. I think it looks incredible. And then there's also like a cool little barricade build as well as a droid stab, but overall it's just a really great value. It's basically 2 battle packs in one set coming together to create the ultimate playset. Up next at the number 3 spot, I have 75377 Invisible Hand. This set has 557 pieces and retails for $50, and this is another set that was very hyped up, and I think for good reason. One, it's the Invisible Hand, which we have never gotten in LEGO form in any way, and 2, because it's one of the first Revenge of the Sith sets that we've gotten in quite a while, and I think it's a really good display piece. I mean, if you're looking to get into mini scale, I would recommend this set. It's near the top, and it's also the cheapest one they've made so far. At only $50 for an 18+ set, it actually feels like it's worth the price. If I have anything negative to say about this set, it's with the stripes that are in the middle of the build. I mean, LEGO did the best they could, and the Invisible Hand does have stripes on it. I just feel like it looks a bit weird and kind of doesn't look as smooth as it should, but that's a small nitpick on my part. I literally haven't seen anyone else mention this at all, because the build really is just great. And I mean, again, on top of that, it's $50 for 557 pieces. It's also a really good value. Coming in at the number 2 spot, I have 75379 R2D2. This set has 1050 pieces and retails for $100. And I mean, this set is really good. On top of it being an amazing build with a very good price point, I mean, 1000 pieces for $100, that's very solid. It also comes with that 25th anniversary Darth Malak minifigure, which is absolutely incredible. It's my favorite anniversary figure that they've made so far. I mean, again, it's just really good. And so is the R2 itself. I mean, the only downside, if any, to me at least, is that his actual gadgets or arms or whatever you're supposed to call them are separate little builds that you have to manually attach to his body, and they don't actually fold out from inside of him, which you know is not really preferable, but given the size that LEGO decided to make this set, I think that's the best they could do. So I mean, besides that, it's just a really great build, incredible display piece with a great price, and a really awesome 25th anniversary figure. Now finally, making our way to the number 1 spot, I have a set that you guys probably wasn't expecting to be at number 1 when you clicked on this video, but it's 75375 Millennium Falcon. This set has 921 pieces and retails for $85. And I mean, let me tell you, I didn't really think much of this set when I heard the rumors, and I didn't really have very high expectations for it, but when I built it, it absolutely blew me out of the water. This thing is just so clean. The detailing on it is just absolutely phenomenal. LEGO did such a good job, and I also think it's fairly priced at $85 given how bulky and detailed this ship is. I mean, yeah, $80 might have been a better price, but $85, I'm not complaining. The only slight problem I had with it is that there's a gap right behind the cockpit piece, but that's literally it. Other than that, this set is absolutely perfect. And also, I forgot to mention, it has completely printed pieces. None of what you see here are stickers, and I mean, that's always a plus in my book and many other people's as well. And on top of that, again, it's fairly priced, extremely detailed, and a very good display piece. Anyways guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know what you think about my list down in the comments below, and your favorite set that is released so far in 2024. And if you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you can see them on the screen right now.